The major events that led to the American Revolution, the French and Indian War, Committees of Corresponding, Stamp Act, Townshend Acts, the Boston Massacre.
All right. Well, those are great events and all, but we aren't here to talk about all that.
Yeah, true. We're supposed to be looking at Wait, what are we supposed to be looking at?
The Tea Act and the Boston Tea Party. That is exactly what I was going to say before I was rudely interrupted. Back to what I was saying. Yes, there are many events that led to the American Revolution, but the one we will be focusing on is the Tea Act and Boston Tea Party of 1773. Samuel Adams, the governor of Massachusetts, was one of the colonists who lacked faith in Lord Frederick North.
Massachusetts? What's that?
It's Massachusetts. It is a state of the northeastern U.S. on the Atlantic. Adams was of the opinion that little had actually changed. Britain was still dealing with severe financial issues. Additionally, he was aware that the colonists' successes over the Stamp Act and the Townshend Acts still infuriated Parliament.
Samuel Adams was smart to have mistrust for the North's leadership. The colonial boycott of tea in 1767 had a significant negative impact on the British East India Company's directors in early 1773. There was an abundance of unsold tea in its warehouses. The government of Lord North agreed to save the company.
To add, the Tea Act was passed in May 1773. The British East India Company was now able to sell tea directly to Americans because to this new law. This was exempt from the peculiar British import tariff. British merchants who served as wholesalers and got a cut of earnings were also no longer a problem for the company. Protected by the Tea Act, the business would be able to save so much money on fees and taxes that it could charge a significantly lower price for its tea than competitors in colonies, while yet maintaining a respectable reputation.
For a colonist, I would be happy about this Tea Act business.
So did Lord North. He thought that the colonists would be happy that they could drink their favorite drink for the bare minimum. But the Americans were not pleased at all.
But why not? I mean, this seems like a very good deal to me.
What if the British overpowered their own tea markets? Like the colonies' tea markets, I mean,
Oh.
Which is a good question. If the British Tea Company drove other companies out of the American market, the company would have a monopoly over the American tea market. And after that, what would prevent the company from raising tea prices sky high in 1774?
Technically, Lord North created acts and laws that would moreover benefit him and his stockholders?
That is correct. So now we move on to the Boston Tea Party. British ships delivering East India tea to the colonies arrived in Boston Port in late November or early December 1773. A fortune's worth of tea in excess of 300 chests was ready to be unloaded from the ship's holds.
Imagine bringing tea into a colony that doesn't want it.
I mean, no one is going to buy it, so imagine how the British are going to feel when they learn about this.
Exactly so, the colonists were determined not to buy the tea and wanted the ships to turn back with their cargoes. Thomas Hutchinson, the governor of Massachusetts, was as committed to seeing the tea unloaded. He gave the command for the British patrol vessels in Boston Harbor to aim their cannons at the harbor's entrance.
So he was willing to blow up the ships if they ever decided to leave with the tea? Isn't that a bit cruel?
There was a lot of money to make if they were able to sell the tea, so of course he'd do anything.
One of the captains who brought the tea volunteered to go to the governor and request permission to leave with the tea in mid-December at the colonists' request. Boston's Old South Church was surrounded by people waiting for the captain's return. As they waited Josiah Quincy, a respected Boston lawyer addressed the colonists, saying,
I see the clouds which now rest thick and fast upon our horizon. The thunder rolls and lightning plays, and to that God who rides the whirlwind and directs the storm, I commit my country.
Was that supposed to be a speech of pride and motivation?
I suppose so.
It was evening, and when the captain returned, the response from Hutchinson was no. Then, moments after, a band of what seemed to be Indians arrived at the wharf and boarded the ship.
Now hold on. Indians? Why are they boarding the ship?
Wait. I think this is the part where Massachusetts lawyers and businessmen boarded the ship pretending to be Indians. They were carrying the cargo of tea with them on board.
Oh, so that they could dump it at sea. I get it. Smart move.
Going back to what I said earlier, narrator, what did Britain do when they realized that the colonists of Massachusetts threw their quality tea overboard?
Well, when the British heard about the Boston Tea Party, they were shocked. They were also angry at the fact that it was a destruction to their private property. To punish the Massachusetts, Parliament created laws. The broad heading for these laws was the Intolerable Acts, and they were created to make an example out of Massachusetts. One of the most cruel law of them all was the Boston Port Bill, which closed the Port of Boston. No supplies were allowed into Boston, and on top of that, no trade items were allowed out of Boston until it paid for the Boston Tea Party. Thus, the people of Boston were in danger of starvation. Well, when